Today's video is going to answer the question of when you should stop to grind AA. While doing some research, I found this topic to be rather controversial, so I decided to run my own test. The test that I created works in the Planes of Power to Gates of Discord era with level 65 max characters. What I have done is I have piggied in a level 51 into the Plane of Fire and put him in a group of 5 other level 65s. And then I proceeded the level while tracking AA gain at each level. And with that data, I created a chart which you can see, and we'll go over. Before we get to that, let's talk about AA in general. General consensus is that having a level 65 or level 60 if you're in Shadows of Lukeland is way better than having, say, a level 51 or any other level character with AA. Typically that's going to be true because the gear at the high end is so much more powerful than gear at low end. So some gear for Planes of Power era and Gates Discord requires level 65. So you may be able to get an item that has, say, a 1.6 two-hand ratio in the Planes of Power era that works on level 62 to 64. But as soon as you ding 65, you're throwing on, especially during Gates of Discord, you got items with over 2 ratio. The amount of AA you get is not normally going to make up just for that weapon damage. The stats on level 65 gear is non-comparable really to stuff that's 64 and below, and the same would be true for almost any era. During Luckland era there was less level requirements, but I still think a lot of stuff required level 55 and plus, so maybe a case can be made where there's a level 55 with a bunch of AA, but keep in mind that some of the AA also requires level, so you might only get a few ranks of something like Burst of Power, and then you need to finish off your max level in order to get the rest of it. In almost every scenario that I can think of, it makes more sense to have the high level character versus the low level character. Maybe there's certain scenarios, but I really doubt it. Like even if you're in like the basement SSRA with a full group of 60s and you're gonna allow experience per kill, having a level 65 going back to that same basement, you're gonna get less experience per kill, but the rate that you're gonna be able to kill at is gonna be much faster, and there's probably a lot better areas available to you at the high end, unless there's some type of mob shortage where maybe there's only 20 mobs and it just works out to have a group of level 60s to kill the 20 before respawn, where if you go in there with a bunch of 65s, they're going to get less experience per kill per hour, and then they're going to kill everything faster, but the respawns won't be back. So maybe there's scenarios like that that make sense, but really just switch areas because it's really never going to make sense. So the next thing you want to look at, and this is particularly if you're power leveling or you're bringing up box characters, do you need, say, a level 65? Or do you need a level 65 with 300 AA? So the last character I did was a Berserker, and I absolutely had no use for a level 65 Berserker with no AA. So what I had to do was find out what level point he gained the most AA experience per kill, but not just per kill per hour, because you have to gauge everything per hour. But having him be in the power level group of 65s, it was the same kill rate no matter what. So what I did is I got the same kill rate with the same group, and I tracked as he progressed from 51 to 65 how much AA experience per kill, which equated to more or less experience per hour, did he gain. And I've come up with a chart we're going to go over, and we're going to see exactly what's happening. The enemies that I tested this on are level 68. They're in C2 in the Plane of Fire. I don't really know if this changes based on fighting lower level mobs, etc. But I do know that this is the best area for my 65s that's currently in the game that I can do because it's open area, and I also use more than one group of characters where some of the Gates of Discord instances might be really good experience. I can't take all 12 of my characters in there in power level. So Plane of Fire is what I tested on because that's where I get all my AA at, and that's what this graph is going to show, and that's the graph and the data that we're going to use for this video. I would think that it would be relevant no matter what. The most shocking thing that I learned about testing the experience per hour, experience per level, as I went from 51 to 65 with a full group of 65s, is that the most AA gained is actually not at level 51. A lot of people in the forums, on the Reddits, they say, hey, stop at level 51, grab a few AA because it's faster. Well, in the group, as you can see here, it was 7.3%, and this whole test was done with a 25% experience bonus potion on, so I had to keep it consistent. It was always on while tracking this data. But it was 7.3 something per kill AA wise for level 51, and it was 7.2 per kill AA wise for level 65s. So yeah, that's faster. So then I went on and I'm like, okay, my plan the whole time was I'm gonna find the level where I can get the most AA per kill, because my kill rate's always gonna be the same because I'm using the same group and 12 characters to power level. So, you know, that's always gonna be 2,000 damage per second or so that I'm running around with. So I'm gonna kill the same. So I'm trying to find what point that this Berserker is gonna get the most AA per kill. So I tested at level 55. So I noticed at level 55, as you see here on the chart, he's up to, you know, it's split between 7.89 and 7.91. I see this gap starting to form. I thought maybe level 55 was the level. So, you know, I'm gonna stop at 55 because 51 wasn't it. And then I kept going. And as I continued, 56, 57, I thought, well, maybe 58's the level. No, maybe 60's the level. And you can see that gap getting bigger. And I was like, at some point, this experience has to come back down, because when you have a full group of 65s, you know, you're gonna get 6.765 is what I had in the test. And that started as soon as my Berserker hit level 61, all the 65s got that same experience throughout the whole rest of the test. Before that, they were getting more experience. So it's almost like there was such a penalty that they were actually sapping experience for that pre-level 60 character. So at level 60, we got a pretty decent split of 8.548 against 6.836. It's a pretty good margin, but why stop there? We got to run the full test at level 65, and that's exactly what I did. So you can see on the chart that it keeps going up all the way to level 64. So I was really expecting by 62 it would start to merge back in with the level 65 experience, but no, all the way up to the last level before the max level. Level 64 was the fastest experience rate gain in the game for this scenario. Most scenarios we're using max level, and the best power level route are going to be similar to this. So at level 64 on my Berserker, I got him up to like 99%. I locked in 100% AA because I already knew what a full group of 65s got, and I grinded out pretty much all the AA I needed for his offensive abilities. So it may not look like a huge difference, but there's like a 34 or 35% increase in experience that a level 64 has over level 65 in gaining AA per hour. So if you're going to be doing, you know, I had to farm 150 AA. So, you know, even if you're getting, I mean, I was going at like a 20 AA an hour, but say you're in a regular group and you're getting 5 to 10, say you're getting 10 AA an hour, and that's going to take you 15 hours. Could you imagine saving a third of that time instead of 15 hours? It's going to take you 10 hours or less. What if you're in a group that has lower DPS and you're only getting 5 AA per hour? You know, something like getting 150 AA is going to take you 30 hours. Could you imagine saving 10 of those hours just by locking your experience at level 64? So like I said, if you need a 65 because it's going to be doing something in your group, but I honestly did not need the DPS from the level 65. I didn't need him to have the gear. What I needed was a bunch of AAs, so when he hit level 65, I throw the gear on and he just slides right into the group and he's fully functional. So if you have that type of leisure where you're power leveling a character, level 64 is definitely the way to go. I was unable to test this during the Luckland time frame, but I'm gonna guess it's gonna be somewhere similar, or maybe level 59 is the way to go when the max level is level 60. Maybe somebody else can comment and has already done that test. So I just found it strange because you know, you never really test the level before the max level because everybody's really excited just to hit the max level. So they feel like they've missed out on other opportunities. And, you know, once you're at 64, once you're level 59, it's like, man, I just want to get the max level so I can get my gear set up, I can start raiding or whatever. But the gold mine was at the level before the max level, and that may be true in Luckland. So keep that in mind. I'll do another test probably for Omens of War when that comes out. This is on the progression servers. This may not even be applicable to the live servers, but these are my findings, and you can see the chart. And then again, if you haven't checked out my power leveling or multi-boxing video, I'll put some links below because that will help you get set up like I have it here. But this, I hope, answers, or at least gives you a partial answer of when you should stop to get AA. The answer is always never, if you need the character to be max level in the group. But if you don't, then the answer is level 64 when level 65 is the max. And it was tested in Plane of Fire off of level 68 mobs. So if you have different results in different areas, please let me know. And again, thanks for watching, and check out the links below.